of unlimited possibilities presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, four-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight we have a special guest by the name of Simene Walden. A little bit about her. Simene Walden, the student teacher, is a teacher, consultant, writer, international speaker and trainer, and an Amazon best-selling author. She is the Chief Operating Officer of the Student Teacher, where she's flooding the educational system with God's words of prayer. The Student Teacher trains other educators on how to have the heart of a teacher and not just the content and knowledge of one. The Student Teacher, LLC, helps new and novice authors craft their stories without losing their voice and compromising their faith. The ABCs of the Student Teacher are A for academics, B for books that include the Bible, and C for crucial conversations. Simene, the Student Teacher, in the arena of education, I'm like the fire shut up in Jeremiah's bones. My message is simple yet powerful. Adopt a school in your area and pray for it in Jesus' name. Welcome to the table, Simene Walden.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to come on. I'm really excited.
I am excited to interview you tonight, and I've read your amazing bio to my listeners. So tell us more about your entrepreneur journey.
So it started off just with a desire to do more in the academic space, and I realized what I wanted to do, I didn't see it being done, and so I just started writing and journaling, and I just came on Facebook one day, and I said, hey, the Lord said I'm going to be the student teacher, and, these are the things I'm going to do, and I just kind of kept at it, and after a while I realized this is really a thing, and so it all started from social media. But it started offline. I introduced it online, and once it took off, I just continued to pursue it.
Awesome. So you are known as the student teacher. Tell us more about that.
So, of course, I'm a teacher. I'm a reading teacher, middle school teacher. I've been teaching for 15 years in a public school. And outside of that, as teachers, we're always learners. And so I'm a student first, always learning, whether it's the word of the Lord or whether it's just, things in the academia space or things just to better your life. And then I like to turn around and be able to teach it to people and pour it into people who actually want what I have to offer.
I love that. And I know you're very passionate about teaching. I follow you consistently, and you're doing some amazing things in the community and in your profession. So would you please tell us some strategies you would give to teachers to help them better connect with their students? Because that's so important, right, to have that genuine connection with your students.
It is important. And the first thing is I would say be humble because, a lot of times we go in, we have to be the professional, we have to be the expert, which we are. But we also have to be humble and know that we don't know everything and that we can learn from our children, that we're not perfect, that when we make a mistake, it's okay to say, I made a mistake. It's okay to say I don't know an answer. And so the first thing, we just kind of humble ourselves to know that even though we're a teacher and we're the authority figure, that we're not better than our students and that we don't look down at them, because a lot of times when you get to know them, and it's really about building relationships, once you get to know them, and you talk to them outside of being your student, or you talk to them outside of test scores, or you talk to them outside of, an assessment or homework, you realize that they have a lot of commonalities that we have, a lot of things that they go through. We've been through a lot of the situations, circumstances they went through some of the things they like, their hobbies, we can relate to them. And so building relationships with them and talking to them as children first outside of talking to them as your student. And I know for a lot of people that's kind of hard to do because it's like, you don't want to let your guard down. You just want to be the teacher. You don't want to know any extra things. But going that extra mile just to say, hey, how was your weekend? Or how was your day yesterday? And you'll be surprised at things that they share with you, and you'll start connecting with them on a different level. And they'll start doing more for you. They'll respect you more. When they have a problem, you're the first person they look to. So I would say really try to build a healthy relationship with them as a person, as a child first, and then build on to that student. You're in my classroom. This is what I need you to do.
I love that for our listeners that are listening, they're in education, because that genuine connection is so important, right? And that determines the retention, that determines it's the, so many different avenues in education, especially with our kids now, because they need us more than ever. I work in for-profit education myself, so that's more on the for-profit education side in the corporate level, but still is education. So in general, I know you work with more of the younger kids, right? So
right.
They need us, and that mentorship and that being able to connect with them is so important. So thank you for sharing that, Simene.
Oh, thank you.
So you are the CEO and founder of the Student Teacher, LLC. So please tell us more about your company and how we can support and purchase your services.
Okay. So originally when I said, my journey, it started privately, then I took it online, and when my first book came out, it was really prayers and devotionals for the educational system. And I started January of 2017 doing it every day, Monday through Friday on Facebook Live, and I would write my prayers down. And so April, it was done. I did the ebook, and in June I got the actual print book. And so I started, with my book, and then I started doing book tours, and I started hosting events, and then people started asking me, hey, can you help me? And originally when people said yes, I said okay, and I just gave them everything. And, I helped them, and it never came back. And then other people started asking. I realized, this is my time. This is the things I learned. I have to package this in a way where, I can monetize from that. And so my first client actually is a lady out of Louisiana who is, she's blind. She lost her sight 10 years ago, and she was my first client. She has her devices where she can, read the book and, up under her screen and everything. And so what we do now, we have new and novice authors who are trying to get in the field of sharing their story, those who have went through difficulties in their life that they never talked about, but giving them the skills to say, hey, listen, you can do this, and this is your story, and it's okay to tell your story. It's okay to share from your experiences. And so when we do that, I help them with, getting their story, editing, formatting, publishing their books. I provide opportunities and events where they can come and actually share their stories, creating places that are safe and comfortable for people to really just be themselves. And the last aspect that we just added is that all of my clients will have the opportunity to have their books translated into Braille, because even though this is and this is what my client told me, she says, even though they cater to a sighted world, there are a lot of people that are not sighted. And so that's one of the things that we're adding to it. So anybody who is new and a beginning author that want to get their foot wet in writing their story or sharing their story, that's what we do. And then we also offer the option where your book can be translated into Braille.
I love that. So definitely connect with Simene, and, if you're interested in any of her services, definitely reach out to her and connect with her. She's definitely someone to know. So please tell listeners more about the ABCs of the student teacher. I love how you broke those down. So let's talk more about it.
Okay. So because I'm a teacher, right, so ABCs, that's like the basic things that you first teach a child is the ABCs. And so A is for academics, because I am a teacher. And so I like to always provide educators and teachers and, those who are aspiring to be teachers, the fundamentals of academics. Even with building the relationship, after you build a relationship and you have the student's attention, now you have to be able to teach them something. You have to give them some content. And even I know when I first started, I was not, very versed on the standards, and now it's Common Core, and, I just didn't know that. And so I had to really study my craft. And so with the academic piece is making sure that whatever you're teaching them, it doesn't have to necessarily be about, public education, it doesn't have to be about book writing, but whatever you do, make sure you are academically sound in whatever you're teaching people. B for books. I help, authors publish their books, write their books, do book reviews for people. And then, of course, my everything that I do is based on the word of the Lord. And so, I share with people, I talk about books, I help you write your story, I talk about the heart of a teacher, but I also include the word of the Lord. And so that's where the Bible came from. And then with the C, with the crucial conversation is sometimes when I create these spaces, we have these events, people are able to really talk about conversations that, perhaps that what stayed in what, and I know in our community share what happened in the house stays in the house. And so now people feel comfortable to share all the things that happened to them in the past. So addressing issues that happen, addressing the trauma, addressing the hurt, addressing the abuse in a way where you don't feel embarrassed, you don't feel shameful, you don't feel rejected, and you don't feel like you got to stay muzzled, but being able to talk about those things and talk about it with people who have also overcome that. They can give you strategies and walk with you through the healing process.
I love that, right? Because we do need to talk about the Bible while we're in school, right? That's important. I agree with that. And having those real conversations, and I love how you utilize the ABCs to get your message across, right? Being creative with that, because that's so important, right? I'm sure your students love that, how you break it down, right?
They do. I love those babies so much.
So I know you're constantly building and creating your seat at the table because you're doing a lot of amazing things. Simene?
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't hear you. I think you cut off.
So how did you create your seat at the table? I know you're doing some amazing things in the community. So how did you create your seat at the table?
Okay. So one thing that I've learned about in business or just in life, period, that people, they don't necessarily want book knowledge or what you've heard somebody else do. They want to know what you have done. And so I talk about building good relationships with students, and I talk about building good relationships with people because that's how I built my seat at the table. It was based on relationships that I made genuinely. It was no hidden agenda. It was no secondary motive. If I connected with somebody, they knew why I connected with them. If there was an opportunity that they was presenting, I connected and say, hey, I would like to take advantage of the opportunity. So it was really about building genuine relationships with people, and then the more I would share with them or they would share with me something that they were doing, I would share with them something, the idea that I was doing or something I want to do, and so then I start partnering with people. And so when I would have things, I would invite them on. Sometimes they would have things, they would invite me on, and I just continued to grow based on the relationship that I had. I never looked for people with quote-unquote big names or bigger names than the people in my circle, because I realized that they had a voice and a story that was just as powerful as somebody else who may be known on a larger scale. So I took the people that was within my circle, and I started growing. And when I first started doing a Facebook Live segment called Speak Life on my Facebook page, I started with my own family. I did it with my aunts and people who have mentored me, because I want them to know that you guys are very important. And without this, this circle of people who was help building me up, these other people online wouldn't see me. So it started off with building genuine relationships with people, and then people would come along and say, hey, I see what you're doing. I want to help you. I want to be a part, or would you like to be a part of my event? But it came from simply building genuine relationships, starting with the people that was inside of my circle, and then it started to expand.
And it's so important to building those genuine relationships and nurturing your relationships, because I'm very big on your destiny tied to your connections. So it's so important that we build those genuine relationships and reciprocal relationships at the end of the day. So I like that you touched on that, because that is the key to getting to the next level, because our destiny is tied to our connections. So what did failure teach you on your journey? Because all of us have a process, right? And a lot of us don't like the pain, but it's part of the process. We can't get there until we embrace it. So what did failure teach you, Simene?
Failure has taught me to be resilient. I've did a lot of events where, people didn't show up. I've had a book signing where people didn't show up, and I've launched products that did not sell. I've had book releases that did not sell, but it taught me to be resilient. And then it taught me that, one, now you got to go back and see what did you do wrong, and then you got to figure out who is your target audience. One of my marketing coaches told me, he was like, Simene, people don't buy what they need, they buy what they want. And when I started to realize that there's a lot of people who may need to share their story and may want to write a book, who went through some trauma and things, but they're not ready to talk about it, that's not necessarily my target audience. And so I had to go back and realize that, I have to focus on the people that's ready to buy. I had to get out my own personal feelings, because a lot of times I became very emotional and, upset and took everything personal. But it's taught me to be resilient, and it taught me to separate business with my friendships. It taught me to separate business with ministry. Business is ministry. Business, ministry is ministry. And so that failing, putting money out and a product don't sell, or showing up to an event where someone has promised that, there's going to be a certain amount of people, and you get there, it's just you, the coordinator and the vendors, and there's no audience to talk to. And so it just taught me how to be really, really resilient and to be understanding and patient with other people as they go through their process too, because we're all growing in this. But it's taught me not to give up.
And so it's so important. You said some key things: being resilient and being able to understand other people, right? Why they're going through their process and showing that grace. Because I think when people see people accolades their accomplishments, they don't see the process, right? And the process is most important part. So that's why we have to be happy for everybody and celebrate everybody, because it's important, because there's room for all of us to win. So thank you for touching on that, because I think people forget that part. When people are in their winning season, then we just have to learn to embrace that and support each other, because it's room for all of us at the table.
Yeah, I agree.
So what did success teach you on your journey?
Success taught me that what I have to offer, that is worthwhile, and that it is making a difference. And, I had to learn to embrace what I consider small success, and I had to learn to embrace what was considered a larger success. But it's taught me that what I have is absolutely important, and what I have is absolutely helping people. And ultimately it helps me, because the more, I share and I write my journal, the more I have these crucial conversations about things that happen to me, I become a better person too.
So what are some strategies you would give to new teachers that are going into the industry? What are they're new to the industry and it's like their first or second year teaching? What are the strategies you would give to that new teacher?
The first thing is just know that you're human and that you can't do everything and you can't save everybody. But you do want to go in with the best attitude that you have. Having everybody on a clean slate. Don't in North Carolina they had something where you have to go through students' queuing folders before the end of the year, before the beginning of the year. If you don't have to get information on a student beforehand, don't, because you don't want your opinion to be jaded by them. Always don't overwhelm yourself with trying to do every single thing every single day, because you will burn out really, really fast. But learn how to have balance between work and balance between school. Let there be a cutoff time when you're going to stop doing work, if you're going to bring work home, so you can be able to be refreshed the next day when you go. Get around people who have positive attitudes, people who are seasoned, who kind of know the ropes, that can help you. Stay away from people who are negative. Stay away from people who want to be out of education, but they stay in it for benefits. They stay in it for the summer breaks and the holidays. Get around other positive people. And then I would say always get you a mentor or somebody that you can be held accountable outside of your school. So when you do have an issue with maybe administration or one of your colleagues, you'll feel free to go and talk about it in a place where they'll give you a non-biased answer, and you can still go back to school the next day not worrying about, someone coming and telling you or spreading what you said around the building.
That's so important, right? So with all the nuggets for our new teachers that are listening, definitely make sure that you listen to those nuggets as far as being around positive people and having those mentors and being around people who are actually passionate about it, right? Because if you're not, you won't last long in education.
Right.
And I know you're also a part of the amazing Black Educators Rock group. I'm actually a part of it as well. I know you're very, very, very involved, and Dr. Melissa Chester is definitely the CEO and co-founder of it as well. But I know that you serve very close with her. So tell us a little bit more about Black Educators Rock.
I love Black Educators Rock. So Black Educators Rock is a nonprofit organization that's geared towards minority educators and those who teach minority students. And so I followed the Facebook group for a little bit of time, and then they did their proposals 2018. I submitted it, and they accepted it. And I was like, oh, my gosh, that was my first time going and speaking, to a national platform. I was really excited. And so I went. I was really impressed by all the different things I see them that they were doing, all the different speakers that were there, people who were in the, in academia, and those who are now speakers and outside doing consulting work. And that's another thing I would encourage all new teachers, get plugged into, groups and organizations, professional organizations that's doing the work that you're doing, and get around people who have done it and done it well, who can mentor you and coach you. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, my God, I was so encouraged. And after it was over and I came back, I made a post online about Dr. Melissa and how appreciative I was of, the platform she had created. I really didn't know her. I just met her, that weekend. I posted, she reposted, and then I reached out to her because I wanted her to be a part of something I was doing. And, we didn't talk for like a couple months, and then we finally talked, and I was really nervous, but I talked to her. She's very, very humble lady. And so when I talked to her, I told her what I was doing as far as like the prayer and, the spiritual aspect of student teaching. And she says, okay, well, we can, you can work, you can be a part of what we have going on. And so I started that, and it's been an amazing journey. I'm actually the president of our Maryland chapter now, Black Educators Rock Maryland chapter, and I serve as Black Educators Rock chaplain. So I'm really excited about that.
Amazing. Yes, Dr. Chester is definitely amazing, and you are too, Siemene. Y'all have done some amazing things. I literally just got a part of it this year, and I can't wait to attend the conference next year, but y'all are doing some amazing things. So super congratulations on everything that you all are,
Thank you
everything you all are doing with Black Educators Rock.
Yeah. Thank you
Special
so much.
shout out to Black Educators Rock.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from you the rest of 2019? We're going into quarter 4. I know you're going to finish it strong. So what can we expect from you?
So I just released my 10th book Labor Day weekend, and so that was an anthology, my first anthology that I did with a group of ladies, and so we did that. And so we're looking to do a few more book tours before 2019 is over. I'm going to host another event in October called the name of the book is called Unmasked to Heal. And so we're going to do another event where people will be able to come and share their stories and be able to get strategies and insight on different things about their trauma, where people are dealing with, dysfunction in their family, when they're trying to build healthy relationships. So we'll have a panel for that. And I'm just going to work on a whole lot of self-care for myself, because when you give out to a lot of people, sometimes you don't have anything else for yourself. And so while I'm working on the book tours and that event in November, I'm going to do a lot of inner maintenance and reflecting and refreshing for myself, because when 2020 comes in, we're going to hit the ground rolling again.
Awesome. So congratulations on your book that just came out on Labor Day weekend. And, yes, you were so right about that self-care, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we cannot pour into other people. So it's so important that we are healthy inside out. So super congrats on everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on everything you're doing, because you have definitely built a seat at the table, a major seat at the table. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. So please tell our listeners more about how they can follow you, Siemene, on all platforms. I want to make sure everybody connects with you, because you're doing some amazing things as well.
Okay, so right now I'm doing some inner maintenance. So you can follow me on all the social media platforms when I come back. LinkedIn is still up, so if you want to connect, any educators want to connect to me professionally, LinkedIn, you can definitely connect to me. You can go to my website. It's www.simenewalden.com, and you can email me at simene@simenewalden.com.
So please follow her and connect with her. As I stated before, she's definitely somebody to know, somebody to connect with. And thank you again, Siemene, for coming to the table, taking time out of your busy schedule and coming to the table. This has been an amazing interview, and I can't wait to invite you back, and I can't wait to continue to work and collaborate with you.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited. So I hopefully in 2019 we can do some things together. But I appreciate, again, the opportunity. This has been a great time to share, and so I really appreciate it. Continue to do all the things that you're doing, and God bless you abundantly. And then I'll see you next year at Black Educators Rock.
I will, but I also see you soon because, you know, Dr. Chester has created a network here. So
yeah,
we'll be talking soon.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too. So I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins-Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester. I would also like to give a special thanks to Author Kimberly McLemore and my intern Sarah from Tennessee State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.